this does really feel like a make or break season for the player that Danny Briere got in return for Cutter Gauthier. And last season, we really liked the second half he had. It seemed like he progressed in both zones, honestly, in the defensive and offensive zone. But the fact remains he played 70 games, put up 7 goals, 20 total points. And I know you personally don't think like, oh, yeah, points for defensemen. But a guy like Drysdale, that's kind of got to be his thing. Like, he's
Yeah.
got to be a big part of the power play.
Yeah.
He's got to be moving the puck up ice, whether it's passing or using his awesome skating ability to create scoring chances. And by doing that, you would think points would follow. Scoring chances equal scoring points. Not so much the case, especially in the first half last year, but we did like some of what we saw. How big of a year do you think this is for the 23-year-old defenseman?
Yeah, I think this is an enormous year for Jamie Drysdale, to be clear. Like when me and Kelly were talking about make or break, our focus was more on the players that'll make or break the Flyers season. And the reason why Drysdale, like we discussed him briefly, but my view generally with Drysdale was, yeah, he theoretically could, I guess, establish himself as a power play 50-point guy. He has the talent to do it. But worst case scenario, he's just a passable third pair defenseman that's probably not going to kill the Flyers. And I don't know if Drysdale having a breakout year is going to turn them into a playoff team in the way that, if Sam Erson's great, if Matvei Mishkov's great, if Owen Tippett's great, if Trevor Zegers especially is great. But if we're talking about, is it a big year for Jamie Drysdale, the individual? It's an enormous year for Jamie Drysdale, the individual, on a number of levels. Number one, he showed, as you mentioned, real progress in the second half of last year. And the hope is that he can build on that and then use that as a springboard to this season. However, he's going to have to do it without the defensive coach that helped get him to the point he was in the second half of last year. Like the absence of Brad Shaw, Jamie Drysdale is the biggest concern I have, because I think Travis Sanheim will be fine. Nick Seeler will be fine. I think, Cam York, I think will be okay, especially because, yeah, he's losing Brad Shaw, but he's also losing John Tortorella. So I think it's a net gain for Cam York on that front. But with Drysdale, I think he had a really good, teacher-student relationship with Brad Shaw. And now he's going to have to recreate that with Todd Reardon. Granted, a guy who's very well respected in the game, but there's no guarantee that that's going to happen quickly. Might take them some time. And Jamie Drysdale's at the point where he's kind of running out of developmental time. I know defensemen, the truism is they develop later, but it just felt like he was on the verge of a breakthrough. And now he's going to have to try to build off that breakthrough without the guy who was helping him reach that point. And that does worry me a bit. But if he does have that breakthrough, he could build off what he was doing in the second half, take another step. And now we're talking about a really important defenseman for the Flyers going forward.
Yeah, I think health is a big thing for him. Like
Yeah.
last year, he gets hurt. But really, what we came to realize was okay, he played 70 games last year. He probably could have played a lot more, but there was an effort made to, rather than scratch him, kind of keep him on IR and use that opportunity to develop him in practice and bring him along and tape study. And really, when he came back from that injury early in the season, we started to see him take some steps defensively. And then in the second half, we started to see, especially in the last couple of months, we really started to see him pop offensively a little bit.
Yeah.
So that continued development, especially at this age. Listen, yes, defensemen take a while sometimes, but at 23, with his speed, in a contract year, you need to show some progress here, man, because, all right, yes, you're a restricted free agent probably for 2 more years, I believe. Yeah, his contract's up and he's got 2 more years before he becomes an unrestricted. But we're not going to keep you around and have a roster spot dedicated to you when we know they're not crazy about the idea of having all
Yeah.
these undersized defensemen to begin with.
It's true.
They just drafted some guys who can play, who are a little bigger. We know that, okay, they gave Cam York a 5-year deal. Emil Andre is in the system. How much time are they going to dedicate to continuing this Jamie Drysdale project if a substantial step isn't taken this year?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And Emil Andre to me is the big one because look, Cam York he's not small, he's just not big.
Yeah.
He's
He doesn't
decent
play
size.
big,
He
but
doesn't
he's
play big.
not small.
Yeah, and he doesn't really play small either. He just
Yeah,
plays like an
yeah,
average sized defenseman, I would say.
because he's an average sized defenseman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more that I don't think they're comfortable with the idea of having all of York, Drysdale, and Andre in the same defense for an extended period of time.
Brent Flair said it to you
Brent Flair straight up said it.
on the record. Yeah.
So if Drysdale is good, then presumably Andre has been probably part of this for the long term. But if Drysdale flops again, they could very easily pivot back to Andre and say,
Yeah.
okay, well, hey, door's open for you. We're going to call you back up and see what you can do. And if he kills it in tandem with Drysdale struggling, then maybe their opinions switch. There's a new coaching staff. Maybe Todd Reardon's like, hey, I trust this Andre kid more than I trust Jamie Drysdale. And Rick Tocchet's like, all right, well, I'll go to bat for what my coach thinks in terms of the defense score. But I want to say with Drysdale, I don't want this to be super negative.
No.
I do think that because of the fact that the Flyers, you know, they had the big draft, they got Trevor Zegras, we are forgetting just how intriguing Drysdale was starting to look at the end of the year. I think it has kind of been forgotten. He was starting to look like a fun defenseman at the end of the year. He was really showing things. Now, maybe he tailed off a little bit at the end of the season, but there was like a good month and a half where you're like, Jamie Drysdale is one of the most exciting players on this team. He's one of the reasons why I want to watch them play, because I want to see if he can keep building on this. There was something there. And there is a world where he shows up for game one and just builds right off that and is that guy all year. And we're talking about a breakout season for Jamie Drysdale. I think it's not something I'm necessarily expecting, but I think it's very possible. And if he does, then he is part of this because, hey, they traded Cutter Gauthier for him. There are people in this front office that believe in Jamie Drysdale. And if he shows it on the ice, like bye-bye Emil Andre, because Jamie Drysdale is the guy that we want to seize that mantle.
No, and that's, I do think while you might not, we want to be a possession team, and we've spent so much time talking about, like, okay, does that mean more dump and chase? What exactly? I do think we talked about defensemen carrying the puck more out of the zone. Like, that's something I want to see done quite a bit more, because so much of what they did offensively to create the rush chances that John Tortorella wanted them to over the last couple of years was getting the puck up to the forwards as quickly as possible. And while I think Jamie Drysdale could excel in doing that with his vision and passing ability, using his skating to break the puck out and get the puck through the neutral zone is something I want to see a lot more of. And I think he could be in position to do that with a team that just wants to have the puck more than they did last year. I'm looking forward to it. Now, in terms of the step we need to see him take, Charlie, last year was so much eye test. Like, all right, man, I'm liking what I'm seeing. He's being more aggressive in the offensive zone. It started to turn into some points eventually in the season, but it was a lot of eye test. Like, he just doesn't look as out of place defensively, and we learned how big of a deal it was going from man-to-man to zone and all that. He's not looking as out of place defensively. He's looking more aggressive offensively. But again, 20 points. Is there like a benchmark you're looking for him to reach this year that you're like, okay, that's it. That's the guy he needs to be?
I think I want him to at least be in the 30s point wise. I do, just because presumably he's going to get power play time.
Yes.
Hopefully he'll be on power play one. Maybe they'll try York there because of the chemistry that York and Zegras showed at the US NTDP. But I think Drysdale had chemistry with Zegras too when they were in Anaheim. So there's that. I want to see him at least in the 30s. I mean, ideally, he's breaking 40. He's approaching 50. That would be a breakout season for Drysdale. Yeah. But at the very least, I want to see him in the 30s because you're right. I'm not a points guy, but Drysdale's one of the types of defense where it does matter for, because he is going to be getting power play time and he is never going to be a shutdown defenseman. He does need to be helping, not just break the team out, but be helping out in the offensive zone, be activating, be attacking on the rush. That's his game. That's what he has to be a truly effective defenseman. So yeah, for points, for him, points matter. And I want to see him at the very least somewhere in the 30s this year.
Yeah, I'm just looking. So last year, Travis Sanheim, 30 points, led the Flyers defenseman, and That was 9th on the team. I would like to see, hopefully it's Drysdale, but maybe York, whoever the power play 1 defenseman is. I want to see a defenseman in the top 5 in scoring on this team, total
Okay.
points. Like,
Okay.
that is something, maybe 6. Like, okay, you're tied with,
You're right around there.
one of our top forwards. If you have the same number, you're off by a couple, whatever. I want to see a defenseman in the top 5 or 6, and I want that guy to be Jamie Drysdale, just because I'm a little more positively predisposed to Drysdale than I am York. But like I said, wiping the slate clean with York as well. But yeah, I just need to see more production from the defense, and that starts with Drysdale because that's his thing. Like, that's what we need him to do. He had a 32-point season a few years ago in Anaheim. You mentioned he's had that sort of chemistry with Zegras before. I need to see, high 30s, something like that for him as a tangible. All right, look at the production jump.
Yeah.
He got back to that 30-ish mark that he had a few years ago and surpassed it. The power play is functional, and hopefully he can be a part of the reason it is.
Yeah.
I'm expecting it a little because I did like what I saw out of him last year, but with the expectation comes it's make or break time, bud.
That's totally fair.
All right, and that is the shootout for this Labor Day edition of PHLY Flyers. Make sure you tune in on Tuesday at our new start time of 4 p.m. Looking forward to it. The season is upon us, Charlie, with us moving back to 4 o'clock. That'll do it for today's show. I am Bill Matz. That is Charlie O'Connor coming to you live from the Xfinity Mobile Studio. Till Tuesday, be excellent to each other.